Welcome back, family. Shabbat Shalom. We're continuing our study in the book of Revelation in chapter 13. And today, at this section, we're going to talk about the development of the system. The development of the system that hates us. This, what we're fighting is not flesh and blood, and it's not an individual. It's a system. And it is described in Revelation 13, as we saw in the first section. It is looking like a lion, a leopard, and a lamb. A leopard, a lion, and a bear, and it has 10 horns and 7 heads and 10 horns. We saw that. And we're seeing crowns on his heads, which means it's a developed system. And we're not fighting against flesh and blood and against, one person. Many people are deceived into thinking Antichrist is one person. There is Antichrists, period, plural. But they all work for a system. The system hates the woman. The woman is the nation of Israel that gave birth to the Messiah. We're the woman. Messiah is our brother too. So let's look at the development of this system and understand, again, brethren, two things. Number one, it's a system. So it's not an individual. Number two, it hates the woman. It hates us, not just because we look like the man-child, but because we gave birth to the man-child. Because we gave birth to the man-child. I'm trying to turn my phone off. Okay. Sorry about that. Trying to turn my phone off. Genesis chapter 10. Genesis chapter 10 is the table, what's commonly referred to as the table of nations. The 3 sons of Noah are spoken of from the beginning in order of their birth. They were triplets. They were Shem first, then Ham, then Japheth. Just like Jacob and Esau were twins. Esau came out first. He was the firstborn. Then came Jacob, the heel grabber, because he grabbed Esau by the heel and came out. They were babies, twins. Shem, Ham, and Japheth are in that order because that's the order of their birth. Okay? Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And from them, they were all the earth populated after the flood. And the great flood took place in Noah's 600th year. And let's begin after Noah's 600th year. We're going to begin in actually chapter 9. And Noah awoke from drinking wine, and he cursed Canaan. Canaan was Ham's youngest son. Okay, so let's take a look at that. And he said, beginning at verse 24 of chapter 9 of Genesis. And he said, cursed, and Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. So Canaan was cursed to be a servant of his brethren. That included all the other brethren. We are ignorantly being told that Canaan was a curse on black people. Canaan was a curse on Canaan. And yes, he was black, and all of his children were black. And his land was taken by black people, the children of Israel. Cursed be Canaan. Then a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. Verse 26. And he said, blessed be Yahweh most high of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Yahweh shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. So Noah lived to be 950. He lived 350 more years after the flood, and he placed a curse on Canaan. So let's look at Canaan. This is beginning at verse 6 of chapter 10. Again, chapter 10 is commonly referred to the table of nations because all nations on the planet today came into existence from Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem's children was the chosen seed, of which came Abraham. We'll talk about that in a minute. Verse 6 of Genesis chapter 10. And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim and Put and Canaan. Now, and the sons of Cush, the firstborn of Ham, Sheba and Havilah, Shabda, Ra'amah, Shabdeka. And the sons of Ra'amah, Sheba and Dedan. And Cush begot Nimrod. So Nimrod was a child of Cush. Cush was the firstborn of Ham. Okay. Canaan was the fourth son of Ham, of which you had later called the land of Canaan. The children of Israel were promised the land of Canaan because Canaan received the curse of Noah. Japhet would dwell in Shem's tents, but Canaan was a Hamite. So, with that in mind, the Philistines, which is where you get Palestine from, the word Palestine in English means Philistine. They were Hamitic people. They were African. That has been changed in the modern era to make them look white and Christian and Muslim. But their original state in the Bible is they were coming from Ham. They were different than Canaan. They were coming from Ham. And so did Canaan, actually. But they were coming from Mizraim, which later became known as Egypt. Palestine, or the Philistines, came from Mizraim. All did the people of the coastline of the Mediterranean Sea are Hamites, the original people. They've been displaced over the centuries by Europeans, by Japhetites, which is where Europeans come from. And it says, Japhet shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Here we are in the book of Revelation, where it says, is particularly also, not only does it say it in the second church, it says it in the sixth church, where the 144,000 come from. It says, there are those that say they are Jews, but are not, but do lie. In the day and age in which we live, there are a group of people that say they are Jews, but are lying. At the same time, the book is telling us there's a group of people that are Japhetites that are trying to dwell in Shem's tents. Do we know anybody like that? That's really from Europe and trying to act like they're natural to the Middle East? Do we know anybody like that? Genesis chapter 10, verse 8. And Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahweh, and the beginning of his kingdom. The first time in the Bible the word kingdom is utilized is in Genesis with respect to Nimrod. He is the first recorded person in the Bible with what is later called a kingdom. Nimrod came out of Cush, and he had what was called a kingdom. There was no word called Africa in the Bible. The Bible uses Hamite and Cush and Mizraim to describe what we call Africa. And the people of Ham were in Nimrod, a kingdom, as well as the Philistines and the Zidonians. They were all Hamites. The Canaanites were all Ham. Later on, Esau took over a land called Mount Seir. Mount Seir, as you study in the scriptures, come from the people of Hor, called the Horites. They were cave dwellers, the color of white bread. How they got white, I don't know. But that became the kingdom of Esau. And part of his kingdom, the royal part of his kingdom, came from a person called Agag, an Amalekite. So later on, when you see Edomites like Herod and Artaxerxes, you know where they come from. Amalekites. And they tried under the devil to combine their religion into one and called it Judaism, which is where you got today with Hamites and Amalekites calling themselves followers of Judaism. But there's no Judaism in the Bible. I told you, it's the word against the system. We're looking at the development of the world system, starting now with Nimrod. Genesis 10:10. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel. Babel is the shortened form of a word we are familiar with, Babylon, which means confusion. And Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Shinar's land is now called Iraq. Out of that land went forth Ashur. Ashur is a Semite. The takers of the northern kingdom was the Assyrian, where you get Ashur from. And they displaced the Israelite by blood and replaced him with a group of people that took over a place called Samaria and Sephardim. That's where you get them from if you're following the Bible. They're not original to the land, which is why Messiah told the Samaritan woman at the well, you know not what you worship. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. So out of that land, verse 11, went forth Ashur and builded Nineveh and the city of Rehoboth and Calah. That's verse 11 of Genesis chapter 10. You see, brothers and sisters, it's all in here if you care to read and follow. Verse 12, and Rezin is between Nineveh and Calah, the same as a great city. And Mizraim, that is a Hamite's son, right? It was Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Those are the four sons of Ham. One, his second born, was called Mizraim. And Mizraim begot Luidim, and Amanim, and Ababim. We see you're learning. And Naphtuim, and Pathrusim, and Kasluim, out of whom came Philistine, and Caphorim, and Canaan. Now you finish with Ham. So all of what we call Africa is Hamite. And the thing that's now, look at how they're trying to deceive you. The thing is now called Middle East was originally black people from Ham. The whole thing called Middle East. Think of that. It's called not East, not West, not North, not South. It's called what? Middle East. Trying their best to separate it from its mother, Africa. They trying their best. That is Caucasians trying their best. Change the name from Mizraim to Egypt. And then change the name from Africa, which they made anyway, to Middle East. Trying their best to separate. Blow off the noses of the pharaohs. Trying their best to separate. But you can separate. You can separate noses from statues. You can cut through the Suez Canal. You can say there's two different lands, but the Creator knows what he made. And you can't change it. What God doeth, the Bible says, it shall be forever. No man can add to it or take away from it. There's a record. See, people try to keep records and call it history. The only one with true history is the creator. And you can't take away or add to his history. He gives you exactly the way it is. You can try to fool yourself if you want to, but that don't change history, and it don't change the truth. You can call it Middle East if you want to. You could put all kind of your Fatites on there, and you can claim they discovered it. You could do whatever you want, and you will. But it's not going to change the facts. We believe facts come from the Creator and only Him. And those in harmony with in truth are in harmony with the Creator. We come from the Creator. We believe that. So, the first kingdom was a Hamitic kingdom. In that kingdom, during that kingdom, the Most High called one person. There was, you see, it was a system then. It was a system. Nimrod had a system, and Nimrod was the leader. They called him a mighty hunter. Maybe he was the greatest hunter, but they started worshiping him, and he created a kingdom. See, when you have a kingdom, it means just by virtue of it, you have a king. Nimrod was the king. And in the midst of this kingdom, one small man was called, a childless man that was age 75. His wife was 65. And he was called by the Spirit of the Creator. And he followed the Creator. And he went south from Egypt and from the Arabs. Verse 1 of chapter 13. And Abraham went up out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him, and went into the south. Abraham was 75 years old when he was called. He waited 25 years for the promised son, whose name was Yishak. Yishak was weaned at age 5. So that was 30 years between leaving Ur of the Chaldees and having his son weaned, the promised son, Isaac. 30 years. That is why the sojourn is called 430 years. The first 30 years was Abraham wandering through the wilderness in the land that was his, that was called his, though the people didn't know it yet. And then 5 years for his son Yishak to be weaned, which they made a big celebration about. That was 30 years. From when Isaac was 5 until when they left Egypt, it was 400 more years. This is the only history that matters, the Bible history. It's the only history that matters. And if you try to compare it to man's history, it's not going to measure up, because man is trying his best to change Ham into Yafet. He's trying his best to change Shem into Yafet. He's trying his best. And all their history says that. They discovered everything you didn't realize. They discovered where Indians already existed. Indians are the northern tribes. That is why when the Bible talks about a nation coming up out of the earth and not from the sea, it's because the sea represents Gentiles. The northern tribes did not represent Gentiles. You see, we're all being lied to. The northern tribes mostly represented Israelites, and they went from the land into what is now South and Central America, and they were called Spanish in those lands, Mexico, Central. And they got mad at me the other day because I said, you don't even know who you are. You speak a language of your captives. My wife and I went to Guadalajara, and we went to Tlaquepaque, and we went to different places in Mexico. And every place we went, there was a square. In the square, looked the same in every place. They had a big Catholic church with a Jesuit priest. And they followed that, and they followed the Day of the Dead. And that's all they knew. And they speak Spanish. That's the language of their captors. They don't realize it. You see, because of the white man in America, they think that they're coming here and the white man is their enemy. The Spaniards were their first enemy. They just didn't realize it. And they have learned, just like black people in America, to love their enemies, to love their captors, to speak the language, to keep their names, to want their system, and to only know about their system. And they don't like it when I said, you call yourself Mexican? That's the name you got from your Spanish captors. You speak Spanish? You call yourself Spanish? That's what your captors were. Y'all were Aztecs. Y'all were Tainos. Y'all were Incas before your captors changed your name and gave you Gomez and Garcia and Martinez and Rodriguez. That wasn't your name. That name was given to you by your captors. And then to be like your captors, anybody that's got melanin in their skin, you look down on because your captors do. You want your skin to be white like your captors. We know all about it. The Cubans want it. The Dominicans want it. They want their skin whitened. Some of them even whiten their skin to get like their captors. Everybody wants to be on the wagon of what they think the champion is. Everybody always is like that. It's human nature. It takes foresight to be on the side of the creator and understand that all of this is getting ready to change. You see, brothers and sisters, they, that is the people in charge, make you and I try to think that their system is going to last forever. Nimrod's system didn't last forever. After him came Israel. Their system didn't last forever. Then came Japhet with the Greeks, then the Romans. Their system is not going to last forever. No empire lasts forever. You know what the Bible says about through Daniel about the true empire? It said, it shall not be left to other people, but it shall stand forever, even forever and ever. There's only one eternal kingdom. It's the one by the Messiah that he's taken for his Father. He getting ready to do it. It's already been determined. Those with foresight will see that. Those that want to jump on board with the latest will stick with the latest. And the word is exposing the truth from the error. The United States is not even 300 years old. And let me fill you in. This year, here we are from 1776 when France recognized the United States. From 1776 to 226 is 250 years. Let me fill you in. This kingdom will not be here for 300 years. It's not going to make it to 300. It's not going to make it to 300. It's going to make it to 250, but it won't make it to 300. There's going to be a new kingdom, and it's not going to be China. It's not going to be Malaysia or Taiwan. It's not going to be any South American country or Brazil or India. There's going to be a new kingdom. It's going to wipe away all these other kingdoms, and it's going to stand forever. Okay. It's almost over. No kingdom lasts forever. Not the Romans, not the Americas, not the English. They want you to think their kingdom is going to last forever. But the Bible tells us no, it's not going to last forever. And they killed Messiah because he said his Father given him another kingdom. He said that. And because he said that, they said, are you Messiah, the son of the breast? He said, I am. And you shall see the Son of Man sit on the right hand of power coming in the clouds of heaven. They said, oh, we heard enough. Put him to death. This ain't no fantasy. This ain't Disney World. You ain't going to be able to stop the meteorites when they come. And it is coming. So we see Nimrod. And then his kingdom faded away. Then came David through Abraham, who became Abraham. And David had a kingdom until he walked on his roof one day and saw somebody's woman. He said, I want that sister. Send her to my room. You see, brothers and brothers, we be falling for that thing. When we have power, we falling for that thing. Unless you orange, then you fall for little kids. Yeah, they so happy to celebrate 250. Enjoy it. 1776, our fathers was in chains. Our fathers was in chains. And then they try to act like 1863, the chains came off. That's a lie. Jim Crow ain't take off no damn chains. My grandmama was raped by a white man in Long Island, New York in 1939. There was nothing we could do about it. How many of us are like that? All of us are. And they got us fighting each other. You see, as long as we speak their language, fight for their name, fight for their kingdom, they don't worry about us. They worry when you wake up. And they need to. So Nimrod came first. Then they tried to bring Nimrod's kingdom back with Nebuchadnezzar until Daniel had the dream and Nebuchadnezzar had the dream and showed him, you're going to be in the system, but you just one cog of the system that's touching the woman, us. Then came the little horn, Daniel, chapter 7, where we was. Then came the little horn. Much history came between Abraham and the little horn. And much history came from the little horn till now. See? Now that the Most High has awakened us according to his own schedule, he has awakened us and showed us what it really is. Either you win or you win. And again, it comes down to the word. The word versus the system. And now we're just showing you the development of the system that the word has given us, starting with Nimrod. Then Nebuchadnezzar tried to bring it back until the Medes and the Persians came. Cyrus the Mede took the kingdom. Then later the Persians took it. Then after the Persians came Alexander the Great, ruthless. The Greeks, ruthless. Then came one even more ruthless, the Romans, and slicker, much slicker. They was ruthless and they combined religion with politics and power. And that's where we are today, a system that combines religion, politics, banking, entertainment into one that makes y'all think it's going to last forever. The Most High is already showing us the signs. But the big sign is his word. Praise the Most High. And those that will trust his word will overcome the system. Okay. Daniel chapter 7. So there's a judgment scene being shown in Daniel chapter 7 that was also being shown in Revelation chapter 4 and 5. A judgment scene. And again, let's look at this. The little horn starting in Daniel chapter 7, verse 8, the fourth beast. There were 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. You see, when the Jesuit order came into existence with the Counter-Reformation of Laodicea, they were infiltrators. And they learned to not only divide and conquer us, but they used their techniques to divide and conquer every nation in Europe. So that the Pope doesn't need to have his own army. This is very important for us to understand today. The Pope doesn't need to have his own army. If there's places where there's Catholics, he already owns the army. So he already controls the United States of America, the Supreme Court, the Congress, the Senate. He already controls it. And he can direct the army wherever he feels like. And he does. Whether it's in your own streets, whether it's in Iran, whether it's in Venezuela or Nigeria. From his office, he directs what he wants. And there's two popes. One y'all don't know about, but he's also legit. He's called the Black Pope. There's a white pope that wears white, and there's a black pope that wears black. The Black Pope is the head of the Jesuit order. He's the real power behind the throne. We're exposing all that today. Look it up. Look up Black Pope. He's the head of the Jesuit order. The last white pope was a Jesuit. The one before Leo. He was a Jesuit from Argentina. Another place the white people then took over. Argentina. They tried their best to bleach out all the black people from Argentina. They know I'm telling the truth. They tried their best to bleach out all the black people. You can't bleach us out. We're still here. Because we're ordained to be here by the Creator. They try their best to bleach us out, though. And that Pope came from there. This Pope came from Chicago, where they have the red mass. They have the red mass a couple times a year. One of them is in Chicago, where all the Supreme Court goes to the red mass. Y'all don't know about that, huh? That's another thing. They go to the red mass. They make it sound like a big celebration. Oh, it's so nice. They're all paying homage to Rome. Okay. Daniel chapter 7. Now you notice the Bible says that the little horn took up 3. So when we were in Revelation chapter 12 and we saw the dragon trying to kill the man-child, this is Revelation chapter 12. Look back there. Revelation chapter 12. The great red dragon. Notice how many heads and horns he had. Revelation chapter 12. The Bible exposes their whole game. Exposes their whole game. They try to keep it secret, but the Bible exposes their whole game before they do it. Thousands of years before they do it, the Bible exposes their whole game. In Revelation chapter 12, the Bible talks about him in verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns. Why does he only have 7 heads? Because if you look at the 3 beasts of Revelation 7, they have 7 heads. And the 10 horn was on the 4th beast. Okay? 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, when you go to chapter 13, notice this one, Revelation 13, I stood upon this, verse 1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea from among the Gentiles, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. 7 heads, 10 horns. A little horn plucked up 3 little ones, but they replaced them with Japan, Canada, and the United States. They were all European. And the 3 nations that I just named you are Yafet. Japan, Canada, and US are being led and discovered by Yafet after taking land from Indians that were really Hebrews. Okay? Everything's being shown to us. They're being exposed. One thing the devil doesn't like, he doesn't like to be exposed. It's like a rat with a light shining on it. You know what happens to rats and roaches when you shine a light on it? They start running because they don't want to be exposed. They like to work in darkness. Rats and roaches. And when you expose them to light, they run. When I was a little boy, before my brother was born, I lived in my aunt's house, and I was afraid to turn on the lights because I know the roaches would be running all over the place. Anyway, Daniel chapter 7. So there's a judgment scene here in Daniel 7. Beginning at verse 9, the same judgment scene that we see beginning in chapter 4 of the book of Revelation and going into chapter 5. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool, and his throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. This is the same Ancient of Days that John saw in chapter 4, surrounded by the 24 elders. Notice his hair was like wool, white as snow, and his wheels as a burning flame. The seven lamps of fire before the throne, the seven spirits of Yahweh. It's the same thing. And the Bible in verse 10, Daniel chapter 7, verse 10. And the fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. 1,000 ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open. What books? That's the books of judgment. Each of us have one. There's the book of life, and there's the books of judgment for all of us. Your life and my life is written in a book. Your life and my life is written in a book. The beautiful thing about justification by faith is when your book is filled with justification by faith, there's no mistakes in your book. It's clean. The blood of the Messiah makes it clean. And all that you'll see in your book is victories, one over another over. That's why Revelation, the first 7 churches say, to him that what? Overcometh. Because of the Lamb's blood, all of us overcame. Isn't that what the word said? It said they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. That is the word from the Father's Spirit. That is justification by faith. We overcome all our sin. And our books reflect that. The books were opened. Unrepentant sinners have whatever's in their books in there. And that's why the deception is so strong today, where white folks are trying to deny history, trying to change history, trying their damnedest to do whatever they can to separate history from us. But they can't. As long as we exist, brothers and sisters, we are history. As long as we exist, we are history. And we exist because the Creator exists. Verse 11, Daniel 7:11. And I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. See now, and his body is destroyed. The beast is part of a system. You must understand. The little horn is just the head of a system. The Antichrist is just the head of a system. The whole system is against the woman. The whole system is anti-Messiah. Antichrist just means anti-Messiah. Anti-Messiah means you're against the Father, against his word, against the truth. That's what that means. If you're with him, you're with him. If you're not, you're not. And he made us the way we are. Are you down or aren't you? It's up to you. Verse 12, as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season in time. Why were their lives prolonged? Because it's one system. It's made up of Babylon, Media, Persia, Greece, and Rome. It's made of Europeans. It's dominating the earth in every aspect. We are not in that system. We're not favored by that system. The system only favors us when we do what? Entertain them. The biggest black people on the planet are entertainers. You know who LeBron James is. You know who Denzel Washington is. We're entertainers. Every once in a while, a Reginald Lewis will come. Every once in a while. But he died in his 50s of a heart attack. Every once in a while, a Reginald Lewis will come, who's not an entertainer, who's a straight businessman. And he succeeds in their system. Okay? So there's these beasts, and they all exist until the end. The thing that destroys the beast is, remember this, the rock that is cut without hands that hits it in the feet and causes it to disintegrate, which we also saw in Isaiah chapter 24 when he says he's going to turn the earth upside down. verse 13. Daniel 7:13. And I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, and all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So the Messiah was brought to the Ancient of Days, the Father. And the Father gave him a kingdom. That's the book that we saw called the Book of Life, which is the 7 sealed book. And we're in the 6th seal right now. And the 7th one's about to be opened. We see all the happenings of the 6th seal and the 6th trumpet. We're about to go into the 7th. And he's going to have a kingdom which shall not pass away. You see, in order for there to exist a kingdom that will not pass away, that means every other kingdom must be destroyed and pass away. So if there is such a thing as a kingdom that rules all other kingdoms, and notice what it says, his dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. All people, nations, and languages should serve him. That's everybody. So there's a kingdom above all kingdoms. That means all of the kingdoms will pass away. That's the same kingdom of Revelation chapter 21, where it says there shall be no more pain, no more death. Where it says, I saw New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, and on the walls were 12 names, which are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, which is what Ezekiel 46 says. Okay? Oh, yes. So either you believe the word or you don't. Is there a kingdom coming that's everlasting? I think I believe the word. In fact, I know I believe the word is coming. All of the kingdoms are going to be destroyed. This 250-year celebration you're going to have, be glad you have it for now. You won't have it for long. It won't reach 300. Verse 15, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. Why would they trouble him? Because he saw heathen empires. That's going to last a long time. And I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, it made me to know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High, see, this is why it's important for us to understand biblically who are the saints of the Most High. The Israelites are the saints. Anybody connected to Israel is part of the saints. You're not a saint if you're not connected to Israel. And if you try to create your own man-made religion and call yourself a saint, you're in trouble. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. How much longer can you get than forever? Then I would know the truth of the 4th beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other, which came up before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. What do we know about the little horn? Well, it says by craft, right? By craft, he will destroy many. By peace, by craft. We know it comes out of Rome, the 4th empire. We know it's different from all empires before it because it includes religion along with military power. We know it don't need its own army. Who you got? The United States Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, he controls them. But you got Chinese era, he controls it. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. Now we got war. war against the saints in the little horn. And then in Revelation 12, he said war with the woman, right? He meant to make war with the remnant of her seed, of the woman's seed. That's us. And we keep commandments. He says commandments are done away with. We keep commandments. Somebody said, can you keep all 600 laws? By justification by faith, we can. Isn't that right, brethren? By justification by faith, we can. We can keep whatever the Creator made for us to keep through justification by faith. Okay? And he says that that kingdom is going to last forever. And it's going to exalt his law. Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, with the statutes and judgments. And behold, I will send Elijah the prophet before the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. There go your two witnesses in 144,000. You don't understand. That's okay. The Creator understands. And those that are his understand. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. Daniel chapter 7, verse 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. And the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. You see, brethren, if you're following the Creator, judgment is not a scary thing. Judgment is only scary to unrepentant heathen. For us, judgment, notice it said, time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. That's the judgment. The judgment is in favor of those that have righteousness on them. The judgment is not in favor of those in their man-made religions and Christianity. Judgment for them is scary. Judgment hour is scary. For us, judgment hour is rejoicing time. Judgment hour is tabernacle time. Judgment hour is party time for us. Judgment hour is the time when he that was last shall be first, and he that was first shall be last. Oh, we love judgment hour. Bring it. We love that. The heathen don't like it, though, because they don't like truth. They don't like truth. We don't ever apologize for being proud of the truth, brother. Let the heathen worry about that, because they're trying to reconcile their man-made religion with the truth of the everlasting Father. It can't be reconciled. The time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. See, so there's a kingdom greater than Nimrod, greater than Agag. And there's going to come time when the saints, who the system is at war with the saints. And there's going to come a time when the saints possess the kingdom. The kingdom is this earth, but it's not going to be in its present state. The Bible tells us there'll be a restitution of all things. He's going to make it as if man never came here and messed it up. He's going to make it all brand new. And we're going to be creating things and making things of righteousness and truth. There'll be no more pain and no more death. There'll be no more commercials. We won't need to be entertained except to look at the angels and the birds that will fly. Praise the Most High. The time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. See, these words are scary to the heathen. It tells them your kingdom is not going to last forever. It tells them that the people you call black are going to be taken over. It tells you that your kingdom is not going to last, and our kingdom is forever. It tells you that you need to be down with us if you want to be accepted. You need to be down with us because our cousin is the one that you got to deal with. And you don't want to hear him. Praise the Most High. Daniel chapter 7, verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth, that's the angel talking to Daniel. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. This is Christianity. Christianity has devoured the whole earth. You are told in the scripture that once the gospel is spread to all nations, the end shall come, right? Their gospel has been spread to all nations, and things have gotten worse. Our gospel has not been spread to all nations, in that the Father has not been revealed to everybody. But he will be. And the Father's preparing to be. And he's preparing us as the messengers of the covenant. It's going to come to pass as he made it come to pass. We're not worried about it. We're only concerned with the glory of the Heavenly Father. That he be glorified is our only concern. Oh, yes. The 144,000 are being prepared for the seal that's already been spoken into existence. And now nature is now working with us to prepare us. What's already been spoken has been spoken. He's preparing us to give a message to our brothers and sisters that are still in Babylon, that they might come out of Babylon and join us in this struggle for perfect righteousness. That's the struggle. The struggles for perfect righteousness of the Father. The struggles to overcome all your sin. Praise the Most High. But the little horn is our enemy of the kingdom of the system that we're in. We're born in this system. We're born with Santa Claus and Easter eggs. Before you even know you're born with Easter eggs and Disney and bunny rabbits and everything. Before you even know what hit you. You're born into it. You were in charge, and you were chosen to be born into it, but you didn't choose it. It came on you. What is fornication? What is marriage in the Bible? I tell you what it's not. It's not two people putting rings on their finger. That ain't marriage. Marriage is when a woman has sex with a man that's agreed to by her family and his family. Fornication is when you have sex with a woman that doesn't believe in your God, or you have sex with a man that doesn't believe in your God, or a woman that has sex with more than one man. We're living at that time now. This is where we live. This is the era in which we live. But nothing is as the Bible says. It's all what man says. You're not married unless the state tells you you're married. Am I lying yet? You're not married till the state tells you you're married. And once you're married and you're a Hebrew man, you could lose everything. A lot of lonely people out here. We shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be all surrendered to the Heavenly Father and his word and seeking to glorify him in his word and asking him to work on the person in the mirror that we might glorify him. Biggest enemies in the mirror. Praise the Most High. You ain't got to worry about the Pope, and you ain't got to worry about this system. Biggest enemies in the mirror. Once you and the Father, that guy and woman in the mirror, y'all connected, nothing can stop you. There's no power available to stop the spirit or the word. Praise the Most High. So, when we go back to Revelation 13, and let's turn back there now for a few verses now. Revelation 13, the revelation of the Messiah. Revelation chapter 13, and we see the beast come up out of the water, right? And we know the water represents the Gentiles, okay? And it's blasphemous power, and it controls the whole earth. And the dragon gives it power, seat, and authority. So you must understand, the dragon is against the woman and against the saints who are the children of the woman. The dragon's against us. There will never be a political entity that favors us. People are calling for reparations. And yes, we are owed. We are owed, but we will not be paid by our masters because they know what's going to happen. If they ever allowed us to be equal with them in truth, we would kill all of them and they would have it coming. And they know that. So they will never allow us. They'll give you the illusion to make you think through the entertainers that you're equal with them, but you're not. Okay? And that's okay too. The Creator knows. We praise the Most High that he knows everything, that nothing is hidden from him, that he reveals to his servants the things that must shortly come to pass. He reveals it to us, and we're not worried. This earth is going to be destroyed with everything in it. And we're not worried because we're going to be members in kingdom to come that's going to last forever. We're not worried about this one. We understand who controls it and why. Revelation chapter 13. The whore is looking for sympathy. Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So it received the wound. Somebody might go, when did Rome receive a wound? Well, when did it? Napoleon wounded it. Napoleon took away the political power of Rome, and France controlled the political system of Europe. See, France didn't just control Mali and Cote d'Ivoire and Cameroon and Haiti. It controlled everything in Europe at one point. And so France took away the power of Rome politically. Rome still had religious power, but France took away the political power. Rome used to sell land in order to give people archbishoprics for land. You can control this land and you'll become an archbishop as part of us, but you got to give us the money, or at least some of the money you collected. That's how the game worked. It's still a game. Religion is still a game. Don't let nobody fool you. It ain't nothing but a game. Don't get caught up in the game. The Creator's real. Stick with him. He's not a religion. The Creator is the religion. A church is just in the way. The Creator and his word is the religion. Messiah did not follow a church. Messiah followed his Father. Did I lie yet? Whoever, in fact, the church at the time said whoever should confess Messiah should be kicked out the synagogue. That's what they said. So Messiah wasn't a follower of the synagogue. They hated him. And it was the synagogue that turned him over to the Romans. That ain't changed. Praise the Most High for the truth. Be free from churches and religion. Stick with the Creator. He's the religion. Nobody will understand but those in the truth. That's right. Religion's a hustle. Religion is down with Rome, down with the system. They're law-abiding citizens of the system. How can somebody be a law-abiding citizen and yet say there's no law? Isn't that amazing, though, brother? That's what they say. There's no law, but you got to keep traffic laws and crime laws and right domestic laws. And there's more than 600 of them. It's amazing what people get fooled into thinking. The Most High has us keep his law and his word. Praise the Most High. Not man. See, we keep the Most High. Man is fine. They ain't got to worry about us as long as their law does not interfere with our worship of the Creator. And you saw already in the book of Daniel, they came to Cyrus, the Mede, and say, nobody should worship nothing but you for 30 days. Then when Daniel worshiped to the east, to the ruins that was Jerusalem and the temple, they tried to kill Daniel. So that religion became illegal. Your following of the Creator is going to become illegal. You're going to be demanded to worship in the system. And when you refuse, everything will be taken from you. Your money, your pension, your Social Security, okay? Your Social Security disability, the house or apartment you live in, your car, everything will be taken from you. You won't be able to buy gas or bread. Why? Because you won't be with the system. Only those in the system will receive the mark of the beast. You'll be dependent on your Creator. Ooh, that's when the test gonna come. You're getting tested a little bit now, but the real test come. Then we're being prepared for that test. And brothers and sisters, don't worry. The Father has already ordained for you and I to pass the test. The devil went to him and said, please, take the money away from that brother. Take the home away from that sister. Take the man away. They will curse you to your face. And he said, go ahead, try. He said, go ahead, try. I double dare you. The accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused us before the Father day and night. Those of us with the seal will be able to stand. Praise the Most High. The seal of the Heavenly Father's grace will keep us in the worst of times. It can only mess with a Hebrew for a little while before he turn on you. It can only mess with a Hebrew for so long. Praise the Most High. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom, brothers and sisters.